Welcome, everyone. This is Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I am Commander Kings, and we are going to go back in time. Literally, like we're going to look at an old chip.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for something there. It's been a long road, from clicking that thumbnail to this video, but you're here now.
Yeah, that pause and that crap start was you got that you got from there to here, and well done. But the time has finally come, and we will see the ship come alive on your screen
Again.
as we touch the sky
Yes.
of YouTube's lack of sharing, and it won't hold us down no more. And you won't change your mind. You're going to keep watching because we've got NX on our show. I think I turned that around, Stu.
That was good. That was good.
I redeemed myself. Right, we're doing comic ships, Stuart.
We are, yes.
Tell us what it is and talk about the first picture.
Well, as I've said many times, not a huge fan of the JJ verse. However, I give a lot of praise to the JJ comics. They have some really great stories, as well as some great artwork and some great ship designs, and they even make the Enterprise look pretty good in those comics. Just saying.
It's worth saying that those comics really have JJ certainly has no long since have any add-on to that, has no say. As Kurtzman had a little bit at the start, but then also walked away. So these are things that are not based on the thoughts of those that started the franchise, and you wonder why the quality is improving. Again, we always say Beyond's a pretty decent Star Trek movie because none of them were involved. This is an NX class, and cut to NX. That's what NX class looks like. Back to the JJ. Now, I'm assuming this is an NX refit in the sense of it's been refitted to be a living ship, or do you think this is a actual JJ verse scratch build? Because we know that they did create, later Mirandas and later, ships of a similar design, just updated a bit. And obviously, what do you think of the design? It's a one picture simple episode, but what do you think of its interpretation?
Fairly well done. I like it. There's a little bit of extra added stuff on the back, which isn't really on the real NX, and some weird shapes at the back of the nacelles. But JJ nacelles it's always an issue with those. They're too big and they're misproportioned, and they're just these are slender enough. They look fine, but the intercooler thing on the back it's an odd choice. It just looks funny. I have no issue with this, really. It actually looks like a good alternate universe version of the NX-01.
No, it's actually funny if you compare the two. I thought it was more similar, but actually they've changed quite a lot of things, and obviously we'll side by side it now. It's obviously familiar, boom, boom, boom. But really, they've removed the deflector. They've really stripped down the pontoons. They've removed the forward outstretched detail. The bridge module has been totally stripped away, just a little blip. The engine's obviously radically different. It's basically, weirdly enough, it's lost all of the NX-01 flourishes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And they seem to have added some kind of shuttle bay or something at the back there. It almost looks like that's a domed shuttle bay hangar door, and that attaches to the main body, which is kind of cool. It got rid of the stabilization crystal in the middle, warp stabilizer. And the pontoons are cut down quite a bit. Yeah, there's quite a few different changes, which you wouldn't notice on first glance. But when they are side by side, it's different enough to be different, I like it. I don't know if it is necessarily an NX era. I mean, judging by the low registry number, I would say probably. But I think it could be a newer build closer to the time we see the movie set in.
I mean, it's a whole can of worms to go registries, obviously. Especially this is a comic. I mean, do you really think they spent more than 5 minutes researching registries? It's like when even, JJ, the Kelvin, had a 0 in front of it, which was not done up until that point. So they didn't even care that much.
A lot of people just assume that because the NX is 01, it's the first of the Federation ships, and the numbers go up from there. So the lower the number, the earlier the ship. So this isn't super early if you're going to follow that logic. And a lot of the people that might not understand how registries could work, there's different schools of thought on how the registries actually do work, because there's some weird discrepancies throughout Star Trek history. The general consensus is that the bigger the number, the newer the ship. but I doubt very much that, Starfleet has 74,000 ships, because that's where the registries kind of get up to.
It's weird because we're watching TNG right now for our live reviews, and they mentioned the USS Constantinople yesterday, and that's a USS, but it's a passenger liner sort of thing. Now it's a USS, which implies it might
It's
be
a colony ship.
well, yeah, but it's not but a USS might also be an NCC. So if they do include various side vessels that are still Starfleet based, then dozens of classes, hundreds of classes. So I mean, you could kind of say 74,000 in the lifespan of the show, the timeline. And just for because I mentioned it a minute ago, the Kelvin is 0514. So this ship, if that logic is continuing, they didn't use a zero, which is good for Canon, bad for Kelvin Canon. Because it's obviously this is more of a JJ ship than the Kelvin was. Because the Kelvin had trying to ish be prime nacelle. This is full on, Kelvin nacelle. So this would have to be a very old, fully refitted NX, I guess, would have to be logically.
I don't know, man. The one thing I'm impressed with is there's no bridge window, unless the whole bridge is just covered by a glass dome, which is what it looks like.
Oh, Stuart, don't break my heart, man. Don't break my heart.
So yeah, it's hard to say where this fits in the timeline necessarily. I mean, you should probably read the comic, figure that out.
Well, it's a very one-off, oh look, it's there sort of thing. It's not particularly, highlighted.
And again, as we pointed out, a lot of these comics don't really consider all the canon and everything. They just want to tell their story, and if they need a ship, they'll just draw a ship. Try to convey the time period roughly. They don't care about the canon consistencies with registry numbers and designs and.
But that said, this is pretty darn great for JJ verse.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Yes. I mean, the engines aren't like this close together. They could have done that. Same design, just But no, I actually really like the design. I think it's great. Again, to see it, in 3D, maybe moving, might make it look better or worse, depending, because a lot of times movement definitely helps things. But
I'm also wondering, because we know the NX refit, which is not a canon, but is a licensed ship because it was featured in several novels on the front cover and the Eagle Moss. So licensed, not canon. And it's in the Star Trek Online video game, so it's like, yeah, we love the ship, but it's not actually canon. The secondary hull placement is incredibly similar to what Doug redesigned for that, sort of, or is it at least it invokes that, or maybe like a refit of that. Do you think it has a secondary hull underneath that?
I don't think so. The thing with the NX-01 refit is they just continued the struts down. This doesn't have that. But that being said, there's the middle piece that attaches, so it could attach and then kind of form like a more bulbous secondary hull underneath there as a variant of sorts, or just.
This would have been obviously a while later. I mean, that the refit was NX era Romulan War. This is at least 70 years later.
Could be. I mean, who knows? We need more views of it, obviously, but.
Do you think there's anything better than the NX itself?
Do I think there's anything better than the NX?
Well, I mean. And do you think it does anything better? I mean, like I say, it's removed the deflector, it's changed registry quite radically, it's removed the front bit, the pontoons are less, the struts are now straight for the. Do you think it does anything better?
The placement of the registry is definitely better. That got rid of that big chunky section in the middle, which I think looks better personally. The struts at the back, not angling backwards, but kind of more forward-esque. Even though I think that's just the way it's drawn. It's not really meant to be that way. It's supposed to be straight. I think it looks a little bit better as well. But actually, to be fair, this JJ version looks more primitive than the NX-01. It looks like an earlier design, and then the NX-01 just improved on it and like beefed things up a bit.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that. I would say this looks like a larger NX variant where it's more TOSified, where everything's now inside the hull. Because NX is everything's on the outside, all the plates. This is the opposite to that. You don't need all this greebling around the whatever. I actually think you're right about the struts. I think they are, like you can clearly see in the NX render, they go back. These do not go back. I think they're actually straight. I mean, they're curved in themselves, but it's straight with straight. And actually kind of. It's interesting. Look, it makes it look less fast, but it makes it look more cohesive.
Yeah, it's something that stood out to me immediately when I saw it. So
That's pretty good. And the engines are better than the average JJ Prize as well. They're less thick and absurd.
yes, although I would change some of the shapes at the back there a little bit. That seems kind of weird and wonky. But
Yeah, I'd agree.
but anyway, guys, that's really our look at this NX01 JJ variant. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Have you read this comic? Do you know if this is the same NX era or a few years, like 20 years later, whatever? Let us know down below if you know anything like that. And what do you think of the design? Does it improve on the NX01? Is it? Do you think it's better? Do you think it's worse? We love reading your comments.
Would you wish you'd seen it on one of the movies? Honestly,
I do. I do personally. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So put your comments down below. And don't forget, as always, guys, like the video, share the video around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification icon because we do things like this all the time. We love ships. So even looking at comic book ships or just, fan designs, we have so many great shows talking about all that cool stuff. So make sure you're subscribed and notified so you don't miss any of it because we do a lot of shows.
And from all the different eras and universes, I mean, it's all... The plethora has been done on this show.
It's all Trek. It's all Trek.
It's all Trek. So please do go back and have a look. We do appreciate any views, any comments, any thoughts, and if you do enjoy what we do, then share. That's always good. Share it around the world on the YouTubes, on the Facebooks, on the Twitters. It's the free way, but what is the supportive way? The genuine, helps us go for another month sort of way.
All that cool stuff's down in the description of each video. There's our Patreon, which is our great monthly subscription service, which really helps us out. It's kind of the backbone of what we do. And so check it out and subscribe if you can. And, for $5 a month, whatever. I mean, you won't miss that off your credit card bill or out of your bank account. It's $5. It's a month. It doesn't look like a lot to you guys, but to us, it all adds up and helps us out. So anything you can offer would definitely be beneficial.
Yeah, or join our lives every single week for the Super Chat lives. We look at episodes of Star Trek, we do breaking news, all those cool things, and you can help us out with those. And any amount is cool, and it lets you have your comment, question, thought read out live on the chat, which is always fun for everyone. Or buy merch down below. You can get shirts and caps, and I think a towel.
Lots of cool stuff.
Lots
Blankets,
of cool stuff.
Banners, yeah.
And if you want to buy an Eagle Moss Enterprise X01, then please do using the code Trekyards at checkout. Save money.
That's right. Like I said, all that cool stuff is down below. So take a chance, take time, go peruse the description. There's lots of cool stuff. Anyway, guys, until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He is Captain Foley. He thought he was going to trick me out, but he was wrong.
Bye, guys.
Bye.